The secret method you are about to discover really pisses men off. So turn your volume down and lean in close, because I don't want any men hearing this. I'm about to give you a secret mind control method to brainwash any man into doing what you want, even if he doesn't want to. The second you walk up to any man and use this method on him, you set off a chemical chain reaction inside of his brain known as mental flooding, which causes his brain to become flooded with strong, almost compulsive feelings of intensity, excitement, focus, and obedience. Literally creating a mental fixation inside his brain that makes him not just eager, but compelled to do what you want, even if you never thought he would. Now, I admit this power could definitely be used for evil, and I'll get to that. But first, just imagine what you could do with a method that lets you control a man's mind. You can use it to make that man who practically despises you right now suddenly mentally fixate on being with you and make him so intensely obsessed with you that he can't even stop himself from brutally ignoring any other woman in your favor. You can use it on your ex to have him beg and plead to come crawling back for another chance. You can use it on your bored, disconnected boyfriend or husband to have him so sick with love that he literally can't stop himself from spoiling you rotten just to see a big, cheesy smile spread over your face. You can use it on your partner to make him want to quit drinking or smoking, or maybe just put down his damn phone and focus his 100% attention on you. In fact, you can even use this method to make the most commitment-phobic man of all feel such an intensity of pure desire and love for you that he starts fantasizing out loud about standing next to you at the altar and sliding a wedding ring on your finger. And listen, I know how bizarre this sounds, but I'm really not kidding when I say this method is weird but deadly effective. How do I know? Well, because I've had someone use this method on me. And to tell you what happened, I have to reveal something incredibly personal and deeply embarrassing about me. Something I've never had the guts to tell anyone except my mom before now. So I want you to stop whatever else you're doing and watch this video right now to the end, okay? My name is Mirabelle, and I am an Amazon.com #1 best-selling author and professional relationships coach who's helped over 316,000 women around the world. And as a woman, a wife, a former model, and a well-known dating coach, this is really hard for me to tell you. But on the top of my head is a massive bald spot. A bald spot that I put there because I have an incurable disorder that causes me to pull out my own hair in fistfuls. Now, if you've never heard of this disease before, it might seem weird or even kind of gross to you. But trust me, weird doesn't even begin to cover it. I can tell you right now that this disease has made me so miserable and embarrassed over the years that it felt like my heart was being mangled under piles and piles of boulders. And I won't even tell you about the horrifying experience of being that model with the bald patch. Other than to say, yes, it cost me a lot of jobs. And yes, I went home crying on more than one occasion. Anyway, so why am I telling you all this deeply personal, embarrassing stuff? Well, here's why. One Saturday morning about 6 months ago, my mom came bursting into my house babbling that she'd found someone who could cure my disease. But this someone was not a doctor, not even a therapist. Instead, it was a really scary-looking, really old guy who worked out of his car. He called himself a professional mentalist, which allegedly was the power of mind control. Now, I did not want to see this man. I mean, would you want to let some total stranger prod around inside your head? Plus, I didn't even believe in mind control anyway. But I didn't want to hurt my mom's feelings. So, I agreed to go. And when I got into his car, that's when things got spooky. This old, skinny, bearded guy leaned over and mumbled 8 phrases into my ear. 8 phrases that were so weird and intense and enchanting that I experienced what can only be described as a mental explosion. There really is no other way to describe it, and I could feel my brain melting like butter. totally open, totally defenseless, weirdly and creepily eager to do whatever he told me to do. Now, I'm a pretty skeptical woman, and like I said, I do not believe in things like mind control. But here is where things start to really get weird. The next morning, lying in bed, I reached for my bald spot to, tug out some more hair. And it was like an invisible hand came out of nowhere and ripped my hand away from my head. No matter how hard I tried, I couldn't do it. And in that second, I felt my skin crawling and prickling as I realized, holy crap. In less than 10 minutes, that crazy old man had crawled inside my head and controlled my behavior from the inside. Then, as if that wasn't crazy enough, 5 days later, I had an emergency situation where I was forced to try out this method on my friend without telling her what it was, which is maybe a bit sneaky, but I'll let you be the judge of that. It was a Thursday night, and I was asleep in my bed when I got jerked awake by this crazy hammering on my door. Frightened, I grabbed my baseball bat and peeked outside. But the woman bashing on my door wasn't some burglar. It was my best friend Susan, looking like death warmed over. I dropped the bat, yanked open the door. She collapsed into my arms and let out this spooky wail. "John says it's over." So I sat her down and opened up my big fat mouth, and I immediately said the wrong thing. "Susan," I said, "I know things have been bad for months now. Maybe a breakup could be for the best." She stared at me with bulging eyes like I'd just run over her pet cat. "But I still want it to work," she cried. "It's just that every time we start getting really close, he freaks out and pulls away. He's done it before, but this time he says he means it. Please help me fix it. I'll do anything." Seeing my friend in so much pain, I wanted nothing more than to fix her heartbreak. And that's when my brain came up with the craziest, stupidest, evilest idea I've ever had. "You should try that method on her," whispered my evil thoughts. "If it worked on you, maybe it could work on John too." I won't lie. I was scared, but I did it anyway. I took the 8 sentences that weird old man had whispered in my ear, and I told it to her. She sat bolt upright like she'd been struck by lightning. "Really?" she said, her eyes like saucers. I nodded. "But do it now before it's too late," I said. She gave me a scared smile and left. 2 whole weeks went by, and Susan was completely AWOL, and I started to freak out. What was happening? Where was she? Finally, 3 weeks later, my office door slammed open and in burst Susan. "Susan," I yelled, "where have you been?" "I'll tell you where I've been," she said, giggling. "I've been in Italy." "What? What are you talking about?" I said, shocked. "Well," she said, smiling, "do you want the good news or the bad news?" I'll take the bad news," I said cautiously. "Okay, well, the bad news is you have to wear whatever dress I say and make a speech in public about me, because you're going to be my maid of honor at the wedding." "Huh?" I said, flabbergasted. "You got engaged to some random guy in the last 3 weeks?" "No, silly," she laughed. "I'm marrying John, my boyfriend. He proposed to me in Italy." My eyes bugged out. "But I thought you said he broke up with you." "Yes," she said softly. "But I guess he changed his mind, didn't he?" Then she jumped up and clammed her arms around me like a bear trap. "It was the method," she sobbed. "I can't believe it really worked. I thought I'd lost him forever. But now he's like putty in my hands. He's acting so in love with me, I can't even believe it. And now we're getting married. He always told me he would never marry me, that he wasn't the marrying kind. I don't know what that thing was you told me to do, Mirabelle, but it really worked." Now, you might think I'd be happy for my friend. And sure, I was glad, but honestly, inside, I was panicking. I'd thought the method might help, but even I wasn't expecting this. And right about then, I got a horrible surprise visit from my ugly alter ego. "Mirabelle, you idiot," it jeered in its evil voice. "You really think you can mess with mind control? And even if it does work, how do you know that this really will work for every woman? Plus, this method isn't even yours. What are you, a thief? I felt a sick pang of fear and guilt because I knew the voice was right. So right there, I made a snap decision to test the method and prove whether it was really that powerful. And I told myself I'd deal with the moral issues afterward. Over the next 4 months, I tested the method on 214 women who tried it out in their relationships, on their dates, and in their marriages. Sophie's boyfriend had moved 3,000 miles away for his career, and he was starting to drag his feet about the relationship and even talk about maybe seeing other people while he was away. But all that changed when she used the method on him. She used it on him over the phone, and the very next day, she woke up to an email begging her to come visit him because he couldn't bear to be away from her one more minute. And as soon as she got there, he sat her down and asked her to seriously consider moving to be with him because he said he felt totally stuck and trapped without her there by his side. Becky wrote me this email. Hello, I don't usually write in to say what I thought, but I just had to let you know what happened. My boyfriend broke up with me and said it was because he just wasn't feeling the love anymore. I was heartbroken, wanted him back so bad, but I thought he'd gone forever. Then my sister told me about you, and I used your techniques with him over the phone, and straight away it was like I had some kind of weird magic power. He immediately charged over, and I almost couldn't believe it was the same man. We got back together that night, and now he's so loving and passionate, I feel like when we first got together. Only now it's better because every time we talk, I'm stunned at how easy it was. And now I know that if it ever happens again, which it won't thanks to you, I will know exactly what to do to turn things around. Thank you so much, Mirabelle. You saved my relationship, and I'm going to tell everyone. Becky. Then my sister, Gemma, used it on her distant, unloving boyfriend, and the very next day she used my method on him. She got the biggest shock of her life. At 11 p.m. that night, I got a fake angry text from her saying, "Oh my God, Mirabelle, went to dance tonight, candles and flowers everywhere. He's just finished giving me a foot massage that I didn't even ask him for. Then he asked me to move in with him. How could you never have given me this method before? Every woman needs to know this." Now, I was euphoric that the method worked so well on all these women in different situations, but I still had a huge problem. I still had to confess to the mentalist that I'd stolen his method. So feeling sick with nerves, I called him up. I told him everything, and almost puking from fright, I begged for his forgiveness. Frankly, I was expecting him to yell at me, or maybe put a curse on me over the phone or something. But instead, he laughed. "Mirabelle," he said, "I knew you were a relationship coach, and I knew that if you were worth your salt, you'd want to use this method on everyone who needs it. Honestly, I would have been disappointed if you hadn't." "So you're not mad at me?" I asked tentatively. "Mad?" he said. "This method was designed to help people. In fact, you would be a terrible coach if you didn't use it to help your clients." I felt dizzy with relief and hope. Finally, a vote of trust from the man I owed everything to. So now maybe you're wondering, what is the actual method and how does it work? Well, I'd be glad to tell you. The method is called the 8-Step Secret Mind Control Method. And like the name says, it's 8 steps to controlling a man's mind by using a method that chemically rewires a man's neural pathways to drench his brain in the chemicals of focus, excitement, intensity, and a strong desire to please. It doesn't matter whether you're dating, married, already committed to a man, or whether he's already broken up with you. It doesn't matter how old you are, how old you look, or what kind of shape you're in. It doesn't even matter if you've been single all your life or are experiencing a really complex love situation. This method works incredibly and almost creepily well to make any man not just eager, but desperate to please you, charm you, and follow your wishes, no matter what you want from him or how stubbornly he's resisting or rejecting you right now. So here's how it works. You and I both know that you can't convince a man to do something he doesn't want to do, correct? For instance, the man who says he doesn't believe in marriage will probably never change his own mind. The man who says he doesn't want to wash the dishes generally won't ever change his mind. And the man who says he just doesn't want you generally won't ever change his mind either. But what if there was a way to make a man want to do what you want? To not only follow your wishes, but actually believe that he's the one making the decision to do so. Well, scientists have recently discovered an age-old link between certain chemicals in the human brain and the dark art of mind control that mentalists, spiritualists, and hypnotists have been using for centuries. And it all comes down to the specific release of certain incredibly potent chemicals in the human brain. The very same chemicals that women like Susan, Sophie, Becca, and Gemma triggered in their man's minds. Chemicals that can mentally fixate a man to not just wish, but crave to please you and fulfill your needs, even when you never thought he would. Heck, you've probably experienced the power of these chemicals for yourself, like when you eat your favorite food, or take a sip of delicious wine, or feel that special man's lips pressed against yours for the very first time, or make the kind of amazing love where every nerve ending in your body is on fire. When you do these things, your brain pushes you into wanting more, right? Well, I've got another confession to make. I've got the method that triggers the release of these same exact chemicals in the male brain. A method called mental flooding that drenches his brain in the chemicals of excitement, focus, intensity, and desire. A method that forges an unbreakable chemical link between pleasing you and experiencing an intense rush of addictive pleasure in his own brain. Chemicals that basically brainwash him into a state of mental desperation to please you, bend to your wishes, and fulfill your needs. Not because you've asked, not because you've nagged, not because you've smiled prettily and tried to look cute, but because mental flooding can chemically alter a man's beliefs and attitudes from inside his brain. So he won't know why he feels such a strong desire to do all these incredibly nice things for you. All he'll know is that he feels an overwhelming mental fixation to keep you safe, keep you close, and put you first in his life because he feels a strong, pleasurable rush of addictive, drug-like chemicals whenever he does so. And that makes these chemicals more effective than a loaded gun to the head for getting what you want from a man. Because just like a drug addict or a sex addict or a chocolate addict, he'll believe he's the one in control when it's actually you holding the reins and implanting the feelings and attitudes you want him to have by planting a chemical addiction inside his head that makes almost any man become putty in your hands. And not just eager, but desperate to please you, no matter what. Okay, Mirabelle, that sounds great, but how do I actually do it? Well, here's a quick story that answers that question perfectly. During the testing of this method, there were literally dozens of women clamoring to get their hands on it. And the whole time, I was heavily anxious because I knew these women were dealing with catastrophic pain in their relationships, and they needed this method now. Finally, one day, an extremely upset lady finally just said, "Mirabelle, my man is going to leave me if I don't do something. Can't you just make this an online course so we can all have access to it right away?" Immediately, I face-palmed myself right in the forehead. Why didn't I think of that? Immediately, I set to work with a thrill of determination. I took my notes from the mentalist and my results and testimonials from all the hundreds of women who'd tested it out already, and with all these ideas zipping around in my head, I started to write. With every new idea that slammed into my brain, I could literally feel my body howling like a wolf with excitement as I pounded every word into my computer with fingers that moved so fast they nearly set my keyboard on fire. And after months of hard work, typing until my fingers were cramping and my eyes were red and raw from all the late nights, I did it. I'd boiled down all my research, experience, and results down into the most concentrated, focused, intensely potent form possible. A deadly effective, mind-bogglingly powerful step-by-step course I now call Wrap Him Around Your Finger, How to Chemically Control His Mind with the Secret 8-Step Method. And this is the only course in the world that works to create a mental fixation inside any man's brain to please you, fulfill your needs, and make you his and only his forever. Here's a teeny sample of what you're going to get. First, you'll discover the monogamy junkie method. And this one sounds weird at first, but here's a hint. This is the same exact method that my best friend Susan used on her previously unloving man to get him to fall to his knees and beg to marry her, just 2 weeks after he broke up with her for good. And you can use this method on a man in any stage of the relationship to make him feel such an intensity of never-ending love and desire for you that he will eagerly crave to take your relationship to the next level. Next, the secret window technique that basically cuts away his face and turns it into a private viewing window into his brain that only you can see through. So that even if he's aloof, deadpan, or really good at hiding his thoughts, with the secret window, you can peer directly into his mind and read exactly what's happening in there no matter what. This will allow you to always know exactly what to do, to literally read his thoughts like a book and draw back the curtain on all the lies, distance, and secrets he's trying to hide, allowing you to create a level of connection with him so deep that other women can't even imagine it. Next, a simple trick to easily transform any man into the emotionally sensitive, passionate guy you've always wanted, so you never have to feel invisible, hopeless, or unwanted by a man ever again. Now here's how talking to your man so he will listen is just like cooking a pre-made dinner in the microwave. Simply flick the switch and then sit back and watch as the heat in your relationship builds to incredible levels. Next, 9 quick fixes you can use tonight to immediately boost a man's level of commitment and investment in being with you. Any one of these 9 things will multiply his desire for you and have him bellowing his love from the rooftops. Pop quiz. What are the 5 biggest secret beefs men have with the women they love? And why do these secret complaints cause even the best men to fall out of love with you over time? Tip. These secret complaints are the reason why he can suddenly erupt with disgust and contempt like chunks of repulsive vomit spewing out of his mouth, even when you thought everything was fine. Sounds pretty bad, right? Well, here's the David and Goliath phrase, a powerful yet tiny secret phrase that has the power to destroy any man's silent complaints about you with one well-placed comment, even when his problems seem big enough to destroy his desire for you permanently. Next, here's why true commitment and closeness is different for guys than it is for women, and a simple emotional shift you can make that will have even the biggest player of them all experiencing true commitment the way you want him to. This makes the difference between a man acting selfish and unloving and having him pouring his heart out with passionate love for you. You're going to love this next one. Here's how to use the generous genie method to have him desperate to grant your wishes and make you happy. And if you've been hoping for a big romantic gesture from that man, like that unloving man who seems to have forgotten how to show his love for you at all, whether it's a really classy date where he pulls out all the stops to impress and charm you, a phone call from your ex begging you for another chance, a sexy romantic vacation where he makes you feel like the queen of his heart and mind, or maybe a delicious kiss, a beautiful ring, and a heartfelt request to let him take care of you forever. Then the generous genie is going to put a smile on your face like a kid on Christmas morning. And that's not even half of what you get in my system. And I'm sure you can imagine that even just one of these techniques, even if you only use it once, has the power to permanently transform your love life for the better. In fact, I want you to take a deep breath and imagine something with me. Imagine what it will feel like when you open your mouth and use this method on the man you want, even that man who previously despised you or completely turned his back on you. How will it feel when you see him suddenly wrap you in his arms and tell you with hunger in his eyes that he could love you for 10,000 lifetimes and still never get enough? And imagine the sensation of biting down on a smile as you see the expression of green-eyed envy on other women's faces because they're almost sick with jealousy at the way men queue up around the block to ask you for a date and don't even give them a second glance. Imagine how it will feel when that previously unloving, cold-hearted man suddenly starts to look at you tenderly, touch you eagerly, and spoil you senselessly, just to show you how much he cares. Imagine how you'll feel when you're sitting at dinner with that man and the pretty waitress tries to flirt with him right in front of you and he doesn't even notice her because yours is the only face he finds beautiful. Yours is the only face he wants to see on the pillow next to him. And your lips are the only lips he wants to kiss, now and forever. Is that kind of power something you'd like to have? I think we both agree that the fact you're still watching means your answer is yes. So what's the next step? Well, the price of my course is $197. However, I have another confession to make. See, I know that a price of $197 means that some women just can't afford it. And my mission here is to empower women like you. After sharing some of my deepest secrets with you today, I feel like we're friends. I feel like I know you, and that makes me want to empower you with the ability to have a man not just want, but crave to make you happy in the same way a drowning man craves oxygen. Therefore, I'm going to do something really stupid right now because I truly want to make this decision not just simple, but blindingly obvious, completely tempting, and as ridiculously easy as possible for you. For you today, I'm going to take a huge financial hit and pay $150 out of my own pocket. So you're not going to pay $197. You're not going to pay $147. Heck, you're not even going to pay $107. Instead, I'm going to give you the full wrap him around your finger system for just one teensy payment of only $47 right now. Just click the big Add to Cart button below, claim your place in my course, and I'll start walking you through the 8-step method of making any man do what you want right now. You really do have to act now, though, because I have hundreds of women in line for this method and hundreds more who've already paid my hourly rate of hundreds of dollars for my private training. And it just wouldn't be fair on all those women to give out this course at such a huge discount when they've already paid so much. Therefore, this offer is strictly limited to the first 500 women in line for this course. Now, since you're still watching, that means your space is still available and hasn't been nabbed by another woman yet. But if you decide to sacrifice your place in the queue and go off to think about it, then the next woman in line will take your place, and you will probably lose your chance forever to get this amazing deal. Therefore, it is extremely important that you act right now. So I want you to move your cursor to the bottom of the screen and click the big Add to Cart button you see there right now. Plus, just to make it a ridiculously easy decision for you, I'm also going to give you 3 amazing gifts that are only available on this video today to women who act before this video ends. First, you're going to get the intensive, irresistible confidence training interview with Marni, Kinrys, and me, a dollar value of $67. You'll learn why being nice doesn't necessarily mean you get the love you deserve. And in just moments of applying the tips you'll get in this exclusive interview, you'll notice men treating you differently, looking at you with that loving heat in his eyes and telling you that there's just something about you that makes him want to be around you all the time. Your second gift is called 12 Reasons He's Not Seeing You as the One. I've developed this advanced material course, $97 value, that reveals the secret love formula that makes a man fall in love and stay in love. The 12 secrets you'll get in this course will have even the most committed phobic man of them all feeling absolutely obsessed with the idea of making you his and only his. Because as you'll learn in this course, it's not how you dress, how old you are, or how you look that matters. It's whether you know how to get a man to see you as the prize that he desperately craves to win and feels incredibly lucky to have. Your third gift is something that's more than a wee bit controversial. It's a very special report on how to get a man's desire actions. Did you know that every man has 2 types of desire? There's the type of desire where he thinks nice thoughts about you, but never actually acts on those thoughts. And then there's the type of desire where he can't stop himself from doing amazing things for you, just to see you smile. Whether that's asking you to be his exclusive girlfriend, surprising you with a totally unexpected gift, Or maybe sliding a ring on your finger and kissing you so passionately you feel like your heart's about to burst. Normally, I charge clients my hourly rate of $250 an hour for the same exact secrets that you're about to get here for free. In fact, in the future, I will be selling these secrets as an entirely separate product, which will be priced at least $127. Yet today only, I'm going to skip the $127 price tag and my hourly fee and flat out give it to you free. So let's add it up. If you act before this video ends, then you get Wrap Him Around Your Finger System, $197, Irresistible Confidence, $67, Hidden Male Desires, $97, Unleash His Functional Desire, $400. Total value, $761. Get started now for just $47, which means you're saving a stupendous $741. And of course, you're not even risking a single dime anyway, because you're completely covered by my ironclad 100% money back, no questions asked guarantee. Here's how it works. You invest in the Wrap Him Around Your Finger system right now. Use the ridiculously simple step-by-step instructions. You're going to have so much fun. And if, over the next 60 days, you don't feel that the man you want is showering you with so much love and desire you think you're in heaven, or even for no real reason at all, then just send me a quick email. I'll give you every dime back right away, and you and I can still be friends. So why am I being so incredibly generous? Well, because I want you to experience this incredible pleasure and delight for yourself. Because I know how well it works. I've seen the proof with hundreds of women. I've seen my friends use it on their boyfriends and husband. My sister uses it on her man. My mom uses it on my dad. I use it on my husband. I know it works, and that's why I'm willing to shoulder all the risk myself so you don't risk a dime. Just click the Add to button below this page right now. I'll take you to the order page and walk you through the process. The payment site is completely safe and guaranteed by McAfee Antivirus and VeriSign, so you know you're completely protected at all times. Just use your credit card, debit card, or PayPal and download your course to your phone, tablet, or computer. Access to my course is immediate and digital, so you can be soaking it all up inside of just 2 minutes from now. Then I want you to immediately turn to page 16. Read just the first 10 lines on the top of that page. Within the first 5 minutes, you will feel your blood boiling and bubbling with excitement as you realize that those 10 lines alone will get you more pleasure and adoration from the man you want tonight than you've gotten from any man in the entire past decade of your life. Simply click the button below and it's all yours in less than 2 minutes from now. And look, what you're getting in this package is worth literally thousands of dollars. Normally, you wouldn't be able to receive my relationship coaching at all. You'd have to get on the waiting list, fly to my hometown, and pay hundreds of dollars for several hours of coaching. Yet by ordering today, only through this video right now, you only have to pay $47 for information that other women have to pay $761 for. That's a 94% discount. And today only, you're saving $741, and you're getting 3 incredible gifts that would normally cost hundreds more dollars for free. So when you think about it, your choice here is really pretty easy. You've learned about a never-failing, foolproof method to wrap any man around your finger. You've seen the proof it works with your own eyes. You've heard the elated, ecstatic success stories from Susan, Gemma, Becky, Faye, Melissa, and Sophie. You've gotten an ironclad money-back guarantee where you can get all your money back right away if you're unsatisfied for any reason. And you're getting a 94% discount. Heck, if you think of it in terms of $47 for getting any man to do what you want in 60 days or less guaranteed, that's just $5.85 per week, which is less than 85 cents a day to get the love and connection and commitment in your life that you absolutely deserve. And all with zero risk to you. If you're anything like my hundreds of euphoric women clients who've already used this method, the day after you use this method on him, you're going to start getting a lot of curious questions about that glow on your cheeks, that sparkle in your eyes, and that secret smile lurking around the corners of your mouth, and that atmosphere of electricity between you and that man that everyone else can't help but pick up on. So now, this video is nearly over, which means it's time for action. And that means you now have just two choices. Choice 1, you do nothing. You keep going the way you are now, and you try not to dwell on the incredible future for your love life that you turned your back on today. And who knows? Maybe you'll get lucky, or maybe you'll flub it and wind up making it worse and end up feeling humiliated, heartsick, or maybe even heartbroken. Or there's your second choice. You invest in the future of your love life right now, risk-free, get everything I've offered you in this video, use the secret mind control method on the man you want, and sit back and watch as his eyes light up and his brain starts to hum with a powerful need to follow your wishes and do what you want. Experience for yourself what it feels like to have a man desperate to please you, charm you, and keep you by his side forever. And again, with my ironclad money-back guarantee, you risk nothing. I don't want you to keep fumbling from one hopeless fake solution to the next, wishing and hoping for things to change, throwing away the best years of your life, maybe never experiencing the kind of total love and adoration you absolutely deserve, when the answer is in front of you right now. And you don't even have to do anything. All the work has been done for you, so you can just follow the steps and success comes automatically. And since you're completely covered with my 100% guarantee, there is zero risk to you at all. In fact, let me ask you a question. What is the one thing that sets apart a man who acts hateful, who's grumpy, bored, lethargic, and unloving, and a man who's drunk in love, who's so affectionate it seems crazy, and who can't see a single flaw in the woman he loves? I'll give you a hint. It's not how young or old you are. It's not how beautiful you look or don't look. Heck, some of the most beautiful actresses and models in the world get cheated on all the time. In fact, beauty, sex appeal, and how nice you are have nothing to do with how a man treats you. Instead, the one thing that truly controls how any man feels about you, the one thing that can make a man fall in love in the blink of an eye, the one thing that can spark a fire of desire in his heart no matter what you look like or how long you've been struggling for? Yep, it's his brain chemicals. When you can influence a man's brain chemicals, you gain control over how he feels about you instantly. No matter what you look like, no matter what he thinks of you right now, no matter how hopeless things feel for you this second. Isn't that something you'd like to experience? Wouldn't you like to see it for yourself? You don't even have to risk a single cent since you get to test out the entire thing for free for 60 days anyway. In fact, the only way you risk anything at all is if you deliberately choose to lose out on this opportunity by doing nothing. And I know that's not what you want. So now, this really is your last chance. Right now, you have the opportunity to gain control over how almost any man feels about you instantly. Right now, all you have to do is click the button, claim your place, and you are guaranteed to finally get what you truly want from a man. This will work for you. It's like nothing else you've ever experienced. I wish you could see that for yourself right now, but the only way you can do that is if you let me give you the tools you need to make all this real for you. So go ahead, click the button right now, claim your place in my course, and join the hundreds of other women who have finally gotten what they want from a man. You risk nothing, and you have everything to gain. So now, the video is ending. Now the choice is up to you. Now it's your last chance. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the inside. Click the Add to Cart button to order right now. Still watching? I bet that means you have some questions. So here are the most common questions I get and the answers to those questions. First, isn't it kind of unethical to control a man's mind like this? In a word, no. As a coach, I can tell you that women everywhere want to change the man they want, like, or love. They just don't know how to do it in a way that works painlessly and effectively. Think about it. Every time you ask a man to do anything for you, whether it's get you a glass of water or ask you to marry him, you're trying to change his behavior, right? It's just that most of the time, women are trained by society and popular culture to use methods that just don't work. Methods like asking, or begging, or whining, or even trying to convince a man via logic. So the best way for me to answer that question is with a question of my own. If you can accept that all women want more from the men in our lives, and truly we all do, then why not just save both of you a lot of pain, frustration, loneliness, and heartache, and just do what works? My method uses the proven mechanics of mind control in conjunction with time-tested theories of relationship change to help you get what you want and deserve from the man in your life. Nothing more, nothing less. Next question. Is there ever a time your method hasn't worked? Well, my method has been proven and tested in hundreds of real-life marriages, relationships, and dates. Yet, there was one time it didn't work quite as expected. Jenny, a client of mine, used the method on her ex-boyfriend to get him back. And while it did work and he asked her for a second chance, it took several weeks before he truly decided to commit himself again to Jenny. And during that time, Jenny used my method on several other men to make them ask her for dates. And just as she started to have fun dating again with all these incredible men, she started to realize that maybe her ex wasn't quite as great as she'd always thought he was. So even though he did end up begging her tearfully for a second chance, by the time he did, Jenny had already moved on to seriously dating another man. And she told me she would never have had the power to get over her ex in the first place if she hadn't been able to use my method to attract so many other men that she finally saw for herself how amazing her choices in love really were. Next question. Why don't you give the name of the mentalist? Why do you just keep calling him the mentalist? Well, honestly, it's because he made me promise not to. I would have told you earlier, but it seemed kind of unimportant during the actual story itself. But since you ask, he made me promise not to give his name or address because he was actually having some problems with immigration, something to do with not having permanent resident status. I'm in New Zealand, so we call that being an overstayer, but I think people in the States call it a green card. Anyway, he didn't have one. So to protect his anonymity, I promised at his request that I would only refer to him as the mentalist, and he was happy with that. And yes, he gets a cut of any profits from this method being made available. Sheesh, what am I, a monster? Next question. What if I use your method and it doesn't work for me? Well, even though that's practically impossible, just send me an email within 60 days and I'll give you all your money back right away. Next question. If I ask for a refund, do I really get to keep all the bonuses and the system anyway? Yep, it's just my way of saying thanks for giving my method a try. Next question. Is that hair pulling thing real, and do you really have it? Yes, it's a real condition, and it affects about 3% of all women. It's called trichotillomania, and yes, I really do have it, and it was a huge source of embarrassment and humiliation for me my whole life. That is, until I saw the mentalist who really did cure me of it. And I am hugely, massively, tearfully grateful that he did. Last question. How long will it take me to get my copy? Well, it's a digital download, so about 12 seconds from now. Just click on the Add to Cart button, place your order, claim your place, and everything is yours immediately. See you on the inside.